Mr. Sandeep Dixit is a former MP. He's a leader of the Congress party as well. He's joining us on the broadcast. Mr. Dixit, thank you very much for being with us and being part of this campaign. I want to ask you what your view is on the various reports that are coming to us from Delhi, especially South Delhi, that people are saying हमें बताया भी नहीं and our cars have been picked up. In some cases, receipts have also not been given by the transport department when these cars are being picked up.
So this is troubling. This kind of a law has been there for a while. And frankly, I'm not particularly in support of this law. There must have been some reason why the Supreme Court came out with this law. But I think, if old cars pollute, then I think it is more important to see their pollution levels than give an age discretion, an age limit. Secondly, it kind of militates against people who keep their cars well or who don't drive for a long time. So, but that apart, I have 2 points in this. One is that whether a car has aged or it has gone out of the period that the Supreme Court has stated, I think there is a particular way and manner in which you actually tell people, inform them. You can inform them a year in advance, 6 months in advance. Today with the electronic world, I'm sure all of us have, what is it? We subscribe to channels, we subscribe to television. We come to know 10 days in advance, 1 month in advance, 2 months in advance that our periods are getting over. We need to pay money. I mean, there are such easy, such good systems available. Why couldn't the government have extended that hand to at least tell those people whose cars seem to be going out of time? See, you can give time that people notice to either sell their cars to areas where they could do so or prepare themselves for the worst. And there is, a very important thing called a handing over period. I couldn't get the name of the gentleman before you who was speaking a lot of sense. He was saying that what about the elderly? What about people who can't change cars? What about people for whom car is actually almost like an investment? A house is, say, a low middle class family. It's not easy for them to just change over. And this is an area where, since it is being done for environment, why couldn't our governments have stepped up and somewhere shown some kind of a sympathy, given them some kind of a support, made a loan easy? I really can't figure out. And the second thing is that, you've seen both the Delhi government and the central government. I'm not saying who's right, who's wrong. I'm not even going into that. Both of them, when it comes to their powers, have constantly gone to the Supreme Court and knocked on the doors of the Supreme Court to say that we agree or we don't agree with your judgments, and therefore kindly change them. Could they not have come down and at least asked the Supreme Court to review these, maybe seen it on a case-to-case basis, maybe look only at pollution? I remember almost 15, 20 years ago that cars that did not pass the PUC tests, they were asked to go off the road. Fair enough. You're dirtying the air, you're polluting. Fair enough, you have no right to be on the street. But then you're given a chance. You have to go either, whatever it is. I'm not a mechanical engineer. You get your engine changed, you get whatever it is done. And if you're a repeat offender, you better get your car off the road. But I don't think this is really the way. And why is it that these governments seem to be only focusing on one poor fellow who's got either one car or two cars, is not able to manage? I think it's not a situation where any of us should feel happy about this. And I think, frankly speaking, I'm very, very happy you've taken this up as a campaign. It is rarely that issues that really affect a common person are picked up in the manner in which you picked up this campaign. And I would say that I think we should I don't think my role here is only that of an ex-MP. I think it's that as much of a citizen of Delhi. And perhaps my own cars will come up for this kind of a scrutiny in a few years' time. I think it is for us to take up the cause of the average citizen of Delhi and at least ask our governments, stand with us, look at our issues, talk to the Supreme Court, talk to the authorities, and give everybody a way to be environment friendly and not have a heavy burden on their purse and in the fact that they can't travel in their cars anymore, suddenly because the authorities decide to take away their cars.
The order came out in 2018. The Supreme Court order came out in 2018. And the amount of angst it continues to generate, it's 2023, Mr. Dixit, the amount of angst it continues to generate, I'm just surprised that the central government didn't see this angst and appeal to the Supreme Court to appeal its decision. Look, anyone who knows, who lives in Delhi, you live in Delhi and I live in Delhi, we know that pollution is a real thing. And we know that the government and the courts and everybody else needs to do whatever they can to bring down the pollution levels in this city. But is impounding cars or junking cars, which are 15 years old, the solution? Because, you know, a Delhi study from 2018, when the Supreme Court judgment came out, tells us that a private, you know, that four-wheelers cause only 3% of Delhi's pollution. And if your car is well maintained, like you're pointing out, if it's not causing pollution, then the more environmentally friendly thing to do is actually to retain the car and run it as long as possible, as long as it has a PUC certificate. And and the entire issuing of PUC certificates cannot be the joke that they are right now. I can be sitting in my studio here, and you can be sitting where you are sitting right now, and we could have a PUC certificate delivered to our table. I can do it right now. But Mr. Dixit, my issue also is with some of the videos I've seen, you know, on the internet, where vehicles are being impounded. Citizens are saying, at least give us 2-3 days, let us see if we can dispose of this vehicle. And the transport department is simply saying, nothing doing, order is order. हमने तो सबको बता दिया था, अखबार में दे दिया था, now we are taking away your vehicle. My problem is also with the high-handedness with which the drive is happening. No respect for the dignity of a citizen. Absolutely no respect for the dignity of a citizen.
I stand completely with you. You know, I think this is particularly bad. You know, for me, frankly, it's akin to a robbery. I mean, ultimately, it is my asset. My thing is, you can keep me off the road. Which law gives any authority to take my asset away from me? Has this been specified? You know, if I do anything wrong, there has to be a way and manner in which, whether it's a Supreme Court or the government, they should have at least outlined what are the processes that the government will take. There should be a process of at least one notice that is sent, something that is sent to me, some, you know, if I do bijli chori, or if I do water chori, or if I do anything other illegal, some kind of notices come to me. That is always the case. And in something like this, in which it's what, maybe an error in a date, or maybe not adhering to some law, how can you treat a normal, honest citizen almost like a criminal? I think this is, frankly speaking, it shows arrogance of the government, high-handedness of the government. And I don't believe this fact that, you know, just because it's the Supreme Court that has done it, or somebody else that has done it. And here I would just like to just ask my Delhi government, you know, you are a government who's constantly been on the streets, who's taken on the various courts, who's taken on the central government. When it comes to your powers, you don't have a problem in almost putting Delhi and its government to a standstill when you believe there are issues that are what you believe are constitutionally correct. Somebody else may or may not believe in it, and have gone on to the streets for that. Why haven't you gone on this? Why haven't you asked or explained the system? Remember, ma'am, a long time ago, you know, when Kejriwal ji was doing his, you know, whole issue about electricity in Delhi, if you remember, he was telling people that if you think that the electricity bills are too high, don't pay those bills, even though they were legally sent bills. So for a government that at one time would stand with the citizens, even to the extent of asking them to break a law, where is that sensitivity gone? And I don't want to make it a political issue. I'm asking my government, why aren't you standing with all of us? And it's not that you're doing some other great things as far as our pollution is concerned. I mean, you yourself noted that Delhi probably is now one of the worst and most polluted cities in the world. Our traffic jams are a mess. Our roads have become dirty. Forget what are the various reasons. But why is it that just because one person is able to buy a car, say once in 10 years and 15 years, and goes over the dates that the Supreme Court prescribed for a matter of, say, a month or two, you punish them in such an undignified, in such a shameful manner? I think, very frankly, somewhere along the line, we seem to be losing the fact that the country belongs perhaps more to its citizens than to its government.
I agree with you there. This country belongs to its citizens, not to its government, or at least not solely to its government. And therefore, a government needs to treat citizens, tax-paying and otherwise, with dignity.
Absolutely.
Good to speak to you. Thank you very much, Mr. Sandeep Dixit, for joining us. Thank you. Thank you so much. Callers with us as well this evening.
Okay. I'm just saying, I hope you don't have a car that's going to get fixed away.
Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. And I hope by the time it gets to that point, the rules change, because I don't want to junk my car in 15 years. I think it's a waste of money. I don't want to junk my car in 15 years. We'll leave it there, Mr. Dixit.
Right, ma'am.
Thank you. Bye. Bye. Let me